first guest tonight is an Emmy-winning actor and television icon you know from shows such as Arrested Development, Happy Days, and Barry. He hosts the new show Hazardous History, which premieres on the History Channel June 15th. Please welcome back to the show our very good friend, Henry Winkler, everybody. I'm so excited you're here. I'm very excited to hear this.
I'm so happy to be here.
You're on the East Coast. You're here with us now.
Yes.
But then you're going to go to a wedding this weekend.
I am. I'm going to Washington with Stacey.
That's very exciting.
We're going to a wedding, and we're very excited about that.
The last wedding you went to, hopefully I heard this correctly, you were asked to officiate.
I did.
Did you do a good job?
You know what? You have to ask them.
Okay. You know what? The very fact that you're deflecting it back to the bride and groom makes me certain you did a good job.
But here it is. I had the most wonderful time. About 3 weekends ago, I gave the commencement speech at Georgetown. And that and a wedding, you have to be so careful.
Yes.
Because it's such an important event for the young people. You have to be at your top.
Yes.
Your
Did
best.
you put a lot of time into your commencement address?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. 10, 15 minutes. I was... No, but I thought about it, and I added something that came to me. I heard a few weeks ago somebody in Washington said the problem with America is that it has empathy. The problem is that we have empathy.
Oh, goodness. I thought you misspoke, but they misfelt.
Or they felt nothing at all.
Or they felt nothing at all, yeah.
Really. And so I talked to them about that you can have a life without empathy, and you can collect things, but you cannot have a rich life with the love. You're just meeting somebody on the line at the airport. You have a lovely conversation, a lovely connection. Your friends, your parents, just made me crazy.
It is very important. I think human connection is the one thing, ultimately. And I also, I have a lot of empathy for kids graduating high school, graduating college, because, as much as we can give them advice like that, they're entering such a different world as we are.
Absolutely.
And I do hope they remember that connecting with human beings is the key to this whole thing.
The key to the whole thing. And I said, look, you're sitting here, you're frightened. You're going to be out there tomorrow, and you're going to find out that, oh, there is no mystery here. I'm a smart person. I can do this. Oh, I thought it was going to be worse.
That's wonderful. I wish, though, you had pointed at just randomly one person and said, except you. I do not have high hopes for you.
You know what I would like to ask you about? Because I would love to day drink.
You would?
Yes. But there's only one caveat.
Okay.
I can't drink.
Okay, gotcha. That's going to bump you a little bit farther down the list.
It is. But how do you survive that? The last one I saw was Paul Rudd.
Yes.
That you are still standing at the end of the day.
Can I say something that is it's deeply unhealthy, but Paul and I are very proud of ourselves.
Yeah.
When it was over and they were cleaning up, Paul said, one more, and we sat at the bar and had one more.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm not kidding. Wow.
Thank you. They say there's nothing sexier to the ladies than 50-year-olds that don't know when to stop.
No, but I will say that, it looks like so much fun.
It's pretty fun, yeah. I mean, I know it's not good for you, but alcohol's got some upside.
It's not even I didn't mean to step on your joke there.
No, please.
But
it was the truth.
It was.
How dare you call it a joke?
But if I had one, if you passed one by the bottom of my nose, I would be on the floor.
Has this always been true of Henry Winkler?
In college, I had something, a highball or something, and I put the glass down and broke the stem.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I probably can't do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You obviously went to a very fancy college if the highballs had stem. You went to Oxford, right? Yeah.
I wish. As a matter of fact, the young lady that is getting married is studying at Oxford in the Divinity School to be a chaplain.
Oh my God, what a fantastic wedding to be at.
Isn't that wonderful?
You mentioned Stacey, your lovely wife,
Yes.
and I do believe you're a good person to run one of these weddings, because I believe you love love, and you guys have been in love for a very long time.
Yes.
Your first date, you were already on Happy Days, is that correct?
I was.
Okay, and what did you do for your first date?
Okay, so I picked her up. I bought the first Audi ever made, the first iteration of the Audi.
Okay, gotcha.
Which only worked for about 3 months.
Yep.
And, but I picked her up, and her 4-year-old son answered the door and said, "Franz." And I said, "My name is Henry. Would you like it if I called you Ralph?" And so I'm arguing with a 4-year-old about typecasting.
Immediately. Yep, great.
So we go to the movies. And I said, "It would be better if we sat toward the back of the theater." And Stacey said, "Why?" And I said, "It's hard to describe. It would be better if we sat at the back of the theater." She said, "Why?" We sat down in the middle of the theater, and all of a sudden the entire theater stood up to come over and say hello.
Yeah.
And Stacey turned to me and said, "Oh."
Well, at least she picked it up pretty quickly, yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I have a lot more to ask you. Will you stick around so I can ask about
I
your
would
new show?
love to stick around.
All
Will
right,
I get
great.
snacks?
Yeah, of course. Henry Winkler. We'll be right back after this.
The AC Gilbert Atomic Energy Kit actually came with its own cloud chamber. So you could create like your own little miniature version of the atomic cloud. I don't know what kid wouldn't want to play with it.
But in order to make an atomic cloud, what do you need?
The Atomic Energy Lab has in it actual radioactive sources.
It comes with 4 different samples of uranium ore.
Welcome back. We're here with Henry Winkler. That was a clip from Hazardous History. And again, I am at the age now where, when I talk to people my age, we talk all the time about how, there were no seatbelts in cars. The amount that your parents would have a station wagon would just set up like a card table in the back.
Right.
And you would just sit like you were having a tea party in a moving car. But the stuff that you have in this show is sort of beyond my imagination.
The subtitle of this show is, "You did that and we survived?"
Yeah.
Hazardous History.
So what are some of the other examples?
Okay. So, what am I, okay, the Flip-Flop Railroad.
Okay.
It was Coney Island, all right? It had to go 45 miles an hour when it made the loop-de-loop.
Okay.
There were no straps. It went, a racing car went no more than 7 miles an hour at that time. And it went loop-de-loop. People fell out of the car. They only rode it once.
One time?
That's it. You never went back.
Oh, my God.
Okay, there was a doctor. His first name was John.
Okay.
I can't know everything. I don't remember his last name.
That's great.
It started with a B.
Okay.
Okay. And Dr. John charged you, in our money now, $12,000 if you thought you were impotent, and he implanted goat testicles.
Like implanted, just right where the regular ones go?
They got a lot larger.
Yeah.
It did not work.
Wow.
But an amazing, in New York City, turn of the century, 1900, 176,000 horses occupied New York.
Yes.
You rode them. They pulled your cart.
Yep.
They pulled your carriage. But they also left 1.5 billion pounds of manure that New York had no idea how to clean up. So they would brush it along the curb, and it was like a snowdrift you did not want to climb over.
It is amazing we survived.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
the gas and the disease. And then, of course, when the poor horse, when it met its end, would die in the street and they had no money, they left it there.
Wow.
Yes.
As a warning to the other horses.
I want to tell you.
Maybe learn to use a toilet.
A diaper at least.
Yeah, a diaper at least.
Yeah, a comb.
So you have a...
I had a comb. I have to tell you this one. This is
Great, yeah.
Okay. No, this is great. A comb.
A comb.
I know
now, by the way, you're saying a comb. I'm like, what could be dangerous about a comb? The floor is yours.
Thank you. It's hot.
Okay.
It's either a hot room or it's August. You're combing your hair, the comb bursts into flames. It's made out of cellulose instead of plastic. And your hair would catch on fire, then your clothes would catch on fire. And they finally figured it out.
Finally, how many times did people combing their hair burst into flames?
Across the country.
Oh my God.
You saw little fires in bedrooms across the country.
This is a fantastic show for you.
And but I'm telling you, it is. You know that chemistry set?
Yeah.
It had a blowtorch, and it said, kids, don't burn wood alcohol because your mother will be very angry about soot. Burn rubbing alcohol, and then they would burn their fingers.
Unbelievable. By the way, now, like, I feel like I don't even open a puzzle for my kids that doesn't say, like, make sure a parent is present.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
The world, you know what? I'm thinking that in a few years, if you watch and the show keeps going, we're going to come back and say, did you know in 2025, we did this?
Yep, of course. Yeah, there's no example of history.
We had this government.
Yeah.
It's going to be a whole...
I mean, I think we should end it there. You guys, that's Henry Winkler, everybody. Hazardous History with Henry Winkler premieres on the History Channel June 16th. We'll be right back with Monica Baldwin.